Hey everybody, I'm Jongo. From the Americans. I play mainly the bass and the keys and a little bit of a trumpet. We're gonna start with a keyboard. It's a pretty normal. It's one of the lower tier keyboards, but still Nord is such a high quality brand that it's absolutely amazing. You can load your own samples, which I've been using, like literally using the samples from the song, load it into this thing and be able to play the exact sound as on the recording. I also use the piano patch that's there because it sounds really good. It's probably the closest thing to the reality you can get. And yeah, I've got some presets here. This is how you switch. Every song has different batches. But this tour I only play because I play a lot of bass. I don't use the keyboard as much. Last tour I played guitar and keyboard, so I use way more keyboard patches, and every song pretty much had some kind of either synth or keyboard patch. There's two main things. It's a regular piano sound that you can dial here. You have so much variability of effects and EQ and different levels of saturation. But the second part would be that you load the samples into the instrument and just use them. Still play. Doesn't mean like it's triggering a track or anything. You still play, but the sound you're using is the exact sound we dialed in the studio, whatever, on a Moog or some kind of like a cool analog synth. So it's not 100% because it's still just like taking a sample and then automatically, spreading it across the keyboard. Some nerds would say, oh, it's not the exact sound as the analog gear. No, but it's very close, and I don't think people, they're like, I don't like the sound, it's not the same. So it's very close. Okay, so bass, it's a Musicman Stingray Special that it's amazing bass. Sounds great, plays great. It has this 3-band EQ, which normally basses don't have. Usually they have only the tone, which is kind of like a high-pass filter, right? But this one also has 2 humbucker pickups where you can switch between both, and then half of this and full on this. It's just like has 5 positions that provides a huge variety of sound. So you can go with very gnarly distorted to very low endy. It's a very versatile bass, and we only bought this bass before the tour, so can't wait to start recording with it because just this itself provides a huge variety of sound for a bass. Strings are Ernie Ball. This Ernie Ball is pretty much the company that owns Musicman now, and the gauge is 45 to 105. So 105 being the low E string, and the tuning is a standard tuning. Actually, no, I'm half step down because our first 2 albums were recorded half step down on guitars and bass, and our next 2 albums are the regular tuning, but I'm still keeping the half step down tuning. It's just easier to learn the other songs in the half step down. So that's the tuning, but it's standard intervals, nothing weird. I only learned that I'm gonna play bass on this tour like 3 weeks ago. I just didn't have maybe that much time. And for this tour, my purpose was find a solid sound, make sure it sounds good. Doesn't need to be every song something different. It's a good bass sound, and I'm using also the Pod Go to supplement that. And I didn't go as crazy as the last two. With the guitar, I would have so many presets similar to Lubo, right? But with the bass, I was going for let's have 3 great sounds and find whatever works, and that's what I was going for, simplicity. As a bass player, I started with fingers, so some songs I play with fingers because that's the most natural way, even though it doesn't have that. This music requires a little bit of aggressive sound, a little bit of distorted. It's very different to jazz or something like that. It needs a little bit more kick. So I use the pick most of the time, but I use the slap sometimes, or the finger technique. So all of them, no tapping, not there yet. It's an amp modeler pretty much, and an effect, multi-effect. It's very similar to Lubo, but it's like a baby brother. It's got the same software, but maybe a little less of DSP, a little bit less of power. It's not as robust, maybe easier to break, so it's like a simpler version, but the idea is the same. So it simulates the amp And this amp really is just for stage volume, which is nice to have when you play. But everything that's going from the house is this. As you can see, it's the way it's wired out goes to DI here, and that goes to Chompy. He would not use the amp characteristics at all. This amp is just for the stage. Obviously, it mixes with if the amp is decently loud and the speakers, it's kind of a blend of these two sounds. But yeah, this is the main brain for the whole thing. I have a little bit of kinky boost. That's what it's called. Then I do have the scream distortion. Really cool. Use it for a couple of songs, and then I also have the rat here. So pretty much clean and different levels of distortion. That's my bass. I don't use any delays or reverbs. I guess it's very uncommon for a bass player. So pretty simple setup here. And yeah, the bass is just a rental amp, just for the stage volume. Probably wouldn't be my choice if I had to pick an amp, but we just went for whatever they had available at the moment. Oh, and this is so yes, about a year ago, James asked me, "Do you think you can learn trumpet just for fun and just maybe if we need to record 3 notes, like something simple, like we don't have to hire a trumpet player every time?" It's like, sure. But little did I know that instrument is incredibly hard. So even just like, even to produce the sound, I wasn't able to do it for 2 weeks properly, and I only use trumpet in 1 song or 2, depending on the set. And it's only like a small melody line. So I thought like, okay, I'm gonna do it for this tour. It's not like a big deal, even if it's not perfect, that I make mistakes but yeah, it's very basic Yamaha 22335 trumpet that's used for like school bands. I got it for $200 in Longueuil in Canada. So nothing fancy yet, but I became a little obsessed with the trumpet. I'm trying to improve every day, but it's still gonna take me a few years to be confident. But I'm gonna get there one day. I'm using a wireless bass, wireless in-ear monitors, and all the guys have the Weston Audio. I have those, but I didn't like them for some reason. They were too high in D. I didn't like the sound of them, and these are just $150, and they sound great to me. And they don't isolate maybe as much, but it's great because then you can hear the crowd. You kind of not in James and Duran, they have the custom molds. And James says he has to take it out to hear actually people. It's very isolating, and I like that blend of, as a bass player, you don't need great clear tone. You just need to hear the whole band. So I'm fine with that. Maybe I'm not saying I'm not going to upgrade as we grow, but for now this worked well for me. Thanks everybody for watching. Would be awesome if you guys can come and check us out. Just go to rareamericans.com/tour, and all our tour dates are available there, and you'll be seeing all this wonderful gear in action. So thank you very much.